Laser levels are absolutely awesome, but the comments I get on these are the brand names are incredibly pricey. For example, this latest DEWALT laser we went over, $699. Most people in that were like, I'd love to have that, but I'm not willing to spend it. So I went out on Amazon, looked around, tried to find something that had decent quality, yet a good price. And what I found was this Dovoh. It's an H3-360G. Seems to do quite a bit of the same stuff. We're gonna go through this, show you the kits, show you what you get, show you the differences. Obviously, we're not trying to say one's better than the other, but if you're looking for something on a budget, we're gonna show you what you might or might not get with each kit and how they perform. So stick with us. I want to go over what you get with each in the case because I think that is a big deciding factor on where you're going to spend the money. If you buy the DEWALT 20 volt kit, you can use the DEWALT 20 volt batteries or 12 volt batteries. It also comes with a charger, which is nice. If you buy the Dovoh, you get 2 of these smaller, what look like camera style batteries. They are a lithium ion battery pack and it does come with a charger. You have your wall box and it is a USB-C cable that is able to charge it. Now the nice thing about this is that you can charge this unit directly with the battery inside, which is where I have a battery at this point in time already. So there is a battery in here. We can charge one in there and we can charge another one if we'd like on the charger. Not bad. The runtime on these is going to be significantly less. So we'll get about 8 hours out of this on a 2 amp hour battery. I'm finding I'm getting about 4 hours with one line on this. I'm getting about 2 hours with all 3 going. So there is a definite difference in runtime. Now, DEWALT gives you a mount that you can mount on any of your drop ceiling, or you can screw it to a wall, and then this magnetically connects so you can move it up and down. That magnet is pretty strong and it works. I think that's great. Other ones I've talked to before have a little measurement tool that goes up and down. This guy here is for our laser detector, which is going to be here, and you'll notice this receiver is not included on the other side. But the Dovoh will work with this. So up and down as far as what you get, you're paying less, you're not getting a receiver. Here's the mount for the Dovoh, which is nice, interesting, and different. So if you're gonna use this on drop ceiling, it's going to have a different style clamp with these 2 screws that are gonna clamp in. Not ideal, but it works. You also have a tripod mount, so you can mount the laser here. It moves forward and around. Still works good. Everything's great. You also have a larger tripod mount in the back. If you were to mount this on different angles, different places, or sideways, no issue. If you want, you can pull this out. It is now magnetic on the back. So same as the DEWALT, you could use this magnetically up against something, or if you wanted to pull this out, there is a keyhole back here. You can either screw this in or do whatever you need to. So you can use this in the same way. The cool part about this, I think, is the ability to adjust it in small increments up and down. So you can move this thing, I have it locked in pretty tight. You can move it up and down however you'd like to get it locked in so you have the perfect target. And then when you get there, you just simply tighten the screw. The screw tightening is fairly basic, but it works. I think that is something that is a little bit more, it's not as well thought out as what the DEWALT has, but it does more things than what you can with the DEWALT easier. Both have targets, so if you're using them with drop ceilings or anything else, that is all there. They both have magnets on the top. Let's turn these both on and see how they look. Both of these guys work very similarly. You have to take the lock off so it'll self-level, and once you do, it actually turns on. In this case, I had the horizontal light on before, so the horizontal light is on. We can turn it on, off, we can turn the verticals on. We can do just about anything we'd like to with that. Works very simple, and same with the DEWALT. there's just one button for each, no issue. We're going to turn the horizontal on, and at this point in time the DEWALT is lower than the Dovoh. So let's go look at some lines. Forgive me for walking through some of these lines. Now remember, the Dovoh is on top, DEWALT on the bottom. If the camera shows like my eyes show, the Dovoh here is much brighter than the DEWALT, a little bit thicker line. In my opinion, easier to see here. As we move down the wall, even if we get to this area here, the Dovoh is lighter and the DEWALT is brighter. So they just seem to be in the opposite spectrum. As the Dovoh gets dimmer, the DEWALT gets brighter, and that just seems to be how they go. As far as level, these two are spot on par to each other and have the same distance between the lines down here as they do down there. So we're pretty close, so the accuracy at this point in time is not going to be a big deal. They're both spot on. So we can start right here on the lift. The Dovoh is on top, the DEWALT is on the bottom. Dovoh, for me, again, brighter. I think you can even see that on my hand. And when we put up the target, they look very, very similar. But at the same point, the Dovoh is brighter in this case. As we go across here, you can see everything shows up well. It's a matter of where the lasers are. So the black on the battery, everything is good. Dovoh, again, brighter, and we're farther away. At this point, we're about 30 some feet. And it comes across black here. When I look at the black on the Milwaukee box, both lasers look almost identical. When I get over to the blue on the cabinets, Dovoh is again brighter and thicker than the DEWALT, but again, both very close. You can see on the target, they both come across pretty much the same. Here's where things change. We are starting to get almost 50 feet away. DEWALT on the bottom, Dovoh on top. You can see a huge difference in the Dovoh. While the Dovoh is only rated for 66 feet, unless we turn it into pulse mode and start using a detector, we can still see it on our target without much issue. But we're starting to fade. That's the difference between the money, where you have the DEWALT that's going to be good up to 270 feet. Dovoh is about 66 feet, and you can see as we come over to the door, you probably can't see this line here on the camera. I can just start to see it, but the DEWALT line is still crystal clear and very bright. Coming around again, back against on the OSB wall. I know all you guys love this, but you cannot see the Dovoh very well up high, but you can still see the DEWALT. Again, that is going to be your big difference. You're paying for distance, and that is huge. Cameras and laser lines are tough, but this seems to show up well on the camera. We are a good distance away, about 55 feet, and we can see the DEWALT line down here is very bright. Dovoh line up on top is dim. It's still here, and we can still see it without issue. And to the naked eye, it's easier to see than with the camera, but DEWALT line is much brighter. So what I'm trying to visibly show you here, without just saying it, is, hey, if you're working in a small area and it's just a room and you need a laser level, the Dovoh is going to be fine. If you're working out in a large area that's 270 feet or even 150 feet, the DEWALT is what's going to take that to the next level. Basically, in a smaller area, they're both doing the same job. Big area, not so much. Now, the difference that we have here is going to be this laser detector, and the Dovoh claims that it can get upwards of 150 feet if you turn it into pulse mode. So there's a simple button here that we push, and that allows our laser detector to pick it up. Without pushing that button, this detector will not pick that up. So let's go out and check that out. So I think this area back here is great to test this out, because we can see we have the DEWALT right there. You can actually see it on the laser detector. Boom. Now if I bring up to the Dovoh, It's right there. You can see the DEWALT line on the bottom, but we are unable to really see it. So at least it still works as a detector. You can go over to the door here and pick these out a little bit better. Either way, that works. Both of these lasers will let you know when they're not level. The Dovoh will blink and beep, and it will continue to do so until you bring it back to level. The DEWALT will just blink, and it'll blink in multiple times to let you know how far off of level you are. Once you get over 10 degrees, it wants to really say, oh, you're really out of level. The difference here is going to be battery life. It's going to be where you're going to use it. It's going to be how you're going to use it. Commercial jobs, you're going to go with the DEWALT. The DIY market, if you're looking at this and you're saying, hey, I'd like to have a laser, I'd like to use it in certain circumstances, but I don't want to put in the money, or I don't want to find a used model, I don't want to deal with the problems, pieces that, the Dovoh is not a bad laser for what you're buying. It does have a 5-year warranty for accuracy, is what they're saying. So if it is inaccurate, they will either fix it or replace it. As far as anything else, it's going to have, you know, the warranty stated on Amazon, which is where I would purchase this. And it, like I said, it does everything else that you could imagine. If you want to have all 3 lines on, just like the DEWALT, it does. It is a class 2 laser. Safety is something that always interests me in these. I always try to keep everything out of my eyes, as you should, but both being class 2, I think you could probably do some damage with either one if you started looking at them too much or in the wrong place. Be safe. Be very, very safe. I think that is something that you need to do across the board, but when you're dealing with something that might not follow as many regulations as others, be even more safe than that. So, cases, boxes, everything that comes along with this, the way they turn on and off, freakishly similar. The only thing I guess that I look at when you have all the lines turned off with the Dovoh and you move it, some lines turn on and beep to tell you it's not level until you actually turn it off. Either way, case, not bad. For what you're doing, for what you're getting, it does have plastic hinges on it, which is maybe a downside, but again, we're talking the DIY market, not the commercial market. Here you go. Which one that you'll choose, that is completely up to you. I look at this and say, how much money do I want to have in a bunch of tools that I may use once in a great while? And if you're using it quite often, you're not going to balk at that $6.99. If you're using it once a year or have one job that you just would like it for, this might be the way to go. Obviously, it does work. We did a lot of tests with accuracy inside and out. Both the Dovoh works outside. It's nicer to have it in its pulse mode. They don't show up on camera outside at all. So it's not even worth me taking you out there to try to show you to be why is this guy pointing at the wall where there's no lines. The camera doesn't pick it up. It's the way it is, but both rated for indoor and outdoor use. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. What are you going to spend your money on? It's a toss-up. So appreciate your time. Give us a like in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Have a great day.